Sports Shop on remote, on location edition. Eitan Shander with you, and I'm at Studio 4 recording with a legend, Grammy nominated producer Will Yip, but he's so much more than that. He's holding an autographed bat by Jim Tomey. We're going to get to that.
Game used.
Game used. Pardon me. Pardon me. Let's start with Studio 4 though, Will, because this place right here just holds so much history.
Yeah, I mean, this place, this was like my dream place to work. You know, growing up as just a music fan, you know, ever since I was a kid. Got my first cassette. My first cassette was Cooley High Harmony. My first cassette, and I opened up, even when I was a kid,
right,
I would read the liner notes. and I saw recorded in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. Asked my parents, asked my brother, where's that place? They didn't know. You know what I mean? Who knew where Conshohocken was back in whatever it was, 95, whatever it was. And then that theme kept showing up when I bought, you know, we got The Score, when I got, you know, Miseducation, when I got you know, Cypress Hill records, and it'll always pop up, Studio 4, Conshohocken. And then when I got into music as a kid and we started playing music, started programming music, started recording, you know, I just fell in love with the studio world. Obviously, I started in a way smaller studio. It was my dream to work here. Right. And I thought after college, whatever, it's gonna be, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get to Studio 4, to work with Phil Nicolo, the legendary Grammy award-winning Phil Nicolo. And lucky enough, man, I took Phil's class at Temple University, did an internship, forced my way in, and that's another story within itself.
That's usually how it works, though, with people. It's always like, okay, you get an opportunity and you kick in the door.
Yeah.
It's never like a little crack. It's always like
those are the types of people that do it. I'm not talking about myself, I'm not talking about you, but just in general,
sure.
You know, I mean, those are the type of people that do it. You know, you have to be aggressive, respectfully aggressive, and just kill it and know what you want and kill it. Do whatever it takes to kill it. You know, my thing, my advice I give to younger people is like, dude, give no reason for the other person to say no. Right. You know what I mean? So I was at the bottom here. I started at the bottom. You know, I did all the runs, all the coffee runs. I scrubbed the toilet, did all that. But it's because I knew I was supposed to be here. I knew I needed to be here. More than the studios in LA, more than New York, because I love Philly.
Sure.
I was gonna stay in Philly.
This is your heart.
This is my heart, this is my home, this is my city. And I knew how special the music scene is in Philly, from hip hop to indie to punk music. I knew Philly was gonna pop off, and I knew I just wanted to grow with the music scene here, and to do it in Studio 4 was a dream. So I started interning. Before I knew, a couple years later, I just kept doing it, brought bands in. 2013, I bought half the studio, and now I'm partners with my mentor, and then with the dude that was responsible for all those records that I bought when I was a kid. You know what I mean? So
and that's the thing. There's like, when you walk in the studio, you see Cooley High Harmony, you see everything that these gold, platinum, sort of multi-platinum records that are up there. And you automatically experience the history. Rough House and all the old school hip hop. Lauryn Hill, Nas, you were talking to me about, like all these names that have been here.
Yeah, you know, people don't know, man. This building was literally the epicenter of indie, the transition of indie and mainstream hip hop for years. You know,
Conshohocken,
PA, Rough House Records, Joe Nicolo, my partner Phil Nicolo, Chris Schwartz. Some of the most important names in hip hop history. Only hip hop heads know the Butcher Brothers now. You know what I mean? But for a minute, they were the center. They were the center. Again, signing the Fugees. Like, that's a crazy signing to find that talent when, you know, Lauren was, you know, Miss Hill was 16, 17 or whatever it was at that point, even younger, I think. But you know, being the first one to pick up Nas. You know, they never put out the record, but the first compilation I was on was under Rough House, and they were the first one to give Nas a contract. But yeah, this is Cypress Hill, Crisscross. This was just a very important time for mainstream hip hop. But yet it was done by an indie label. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
is crazy. Which is insane. Like, people forget that an indie label put out Miseducation, that put out The Score with the help of a major label distribution. You know what I mean? So this is a very historic place that I feel like the story doesn't get told enough. You know.
What happened with Jump Around?
All right. All right, this is a Studio 4 classic story, and there's definitely been enough. You know, I think Everlast has definitely told the story. I'm sure Joe's told a story, but I'm sure which side to tell first. But if you listen to the OG cut, and it's the single version. The single version is probably not the radio version, but the video version, the album version, the OG single version. At the end, when they're just ad-libbing, Everlast gives a shout out to, this song goes out to Joe the Biter Nicolo. So again, Rough House in the mid-90s was the hottest label.
Yeah.
They were the hottest label. Then Def Jam, you know, they were all kind of happening together,
right.
And the whole West Coast thing, you know, was all happening together. But Everlast, you know, and House of Pain, they wanted to be on Rough House Records, like so many others.
Put me down, right?
And you know, I believe in my guys. I believe they're very honest people, especially with me. You know, they will give me the dirty deeds. But they're honest with me, and they just told you know, the crew that they were, you know, the roster was full. They're about to put out the score. They're about to put out these kids called Crisscross, and there's only a few people. There's only a handful of people working in this building. They're like, we love the record. They played them Jump Around. We love the record. You see where I'm going with this? You know, they love the record, but the roster was full. A couple months later, what song does Rough House put out?
Jump
by Crisscross, and Everlast swore that Joe bit him.
Wow.
That Joe loved the track, and he bit him, and I think they reconciled. They squashed their beef,
right.
You know, in the last 30 years or whatever. But it's a funny story. But from the bottom of my belief in my soul, I know it was just a crazy coincidence, you know, because it came out literally months after.
Right.
So for all that time and all that stuff to kind of happen, just didn't
and that
make
happens
sense.
a lot with movies where
Oh,
you
absolutely.
have
Like,
similar themes pop in the same
even this
time.
year, Dunkirk and whatever, Darkest Hour or whatever it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's just at that point, people just want to jump, and people just want to rap about jumping. You know what I mean?
It.
So, that's a pretty cool classic story.
All right, before we get into the bat,
and I'm still holding this back.
I know, you're holding it for a reason. I promise. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
You were also, I mean, you're a legend here locally as well, because a music director. I mean, you were running with Schoolie D.
Yeah.
So your connection and your involvement with music stems from, you know, Philadelphia hip hop. I mean, it's deep. And that's a connection that you have.
You know, I grew up in hip hop and I grew up in punk music. That's why my career is where it is now. But I think people forget that hip hop side of me because I'm, you know, from what I'm doing now, it's all up in this rock stuff, what people know. But I came up in the hip hop world, you know, and back in 08, 09 into 2010, I was introduced to Schoolie D, literally the first ever, I'll credit him as the first ever gangster rapper, like the first ever one to say crazy words on record, you know what I mean?
Some shit.
Yeah, even Ice-T would. Yeah, Ice-T calls him the first, the real gangster rapper.
When the OG
you know
calls you the OG.
Straight up, you know? And Chris Schwartz, Rough House Records, you know, who was the first one to put out Schoolie D too. You know, he put out the Schoolie D record, all the classics, and was like, you know, Schoolie has a new record that has a bit of like indie funk influence, you know, so, well, I think you would vibe with this. You know, you can track it, you know, play some drums on it, and then I started working with Schoolie, working on vocals and working on mixing with Phil here, and then he was like, dude, you play drums. I started playing drums. He's like, you're gonna play drums for me. I'm like, all right, let's go, let's do it. You know, this is crazy. This is Schoolie D. You know what I mean?
So now you touring with him and shit?
No, we were doing everything. You know, so we didn't do any like long dates and whatever. But this is when he was like coming back. You know, so we did all the dates it was a lot of dates. You know, I played a lot with Schoolie, and he put me in the role of being the music director.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which was awesome. Yeah, it was a learning experience to play, to help, you know, kind of construct something with a legend, actual legend, you know, actual rap prophet, you know what I mean? To me, you know, growing up, like, he saw things, he did things before anybody else did. And even that stuff, you know, that was a record that a lot of people forgot, International Super Sport. it had, you know, guitar stuff. Like, he was putting guitar and hip-hop records, live guitar and hip-hop records before it was cool to now. Now it's cool to, you know what I mean? And it wasn't even cool. People were like, oh, this is whack. You know, you're not going to use drum sample, you're going to use drum kit?
Right.
I'm like, nowadays, you know, I love Frank and I love those records, you know what I mean? I love Tyler, I love those records, but like, he was doing it before it was cool, and he was a little bit ahead of the curve, you know what I mean? And then, but yeah, you know, that's why he's great. He's definitely a visionary, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm sure there's some stories
that
you have just traveling, or not even if it's not long. But
I definitely have stories that probably aren't too you know, YouTube friendly.
No, that's fine. We can curse. You can say whatever you want here.
No, but yeah, no, it was cool. And then,
was that your first real experience touring or any type of like live traveling?
No, I mean, I toured with, like, you know, my shitty punk bands growing up. You know what I mean? I was playing punk bands, you know, like everyone, but not anything crazy. That was my first tours where anyone ever actually gave a shit until, you know, I left, you know, respectfully left the schoolie gig to work with Lauryn Hill, and then that was when my touring life kind of went.
Yeah, now see, I can't bring up the bat now when you bring up Lauryn.
Oh shit, damn,
right?
my bad.
Like, that's on you now.
Oh, my bad.
But the other time was on me. This was on you.
Okay, all right.
So keep holding on to this bat. We're gonna get into this, and real quick.
This is a sports shop, so I have to hold on
exactly.
To that.
And as a tease, before we touch on Lauryn, you have the largest collection of what?
A Phillies game used stuff.
Hands
Philly
down.
Game used
like, that's not even debatable.
Yeah, well, 100%.
That's amazing.
Anyone, yeah, for sure.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so you get a call from Lauryn.
I get a call. It was, all right. So Miss Hill, you know, I'll be PC with it, you know what I mean? Because she's still, you know, we're still rocking.
Right.
But Miss Hill was ready to get back to do it in 2008. And she, like a lot of the artists that I work with, she only really fucks with people that she trusts. You know, so she's getting back into it. Does she trust? The Rough House crew.
Right.
Phil, Joe, you know, and Chris. And we did a session together. I'll never forget, in 2008, we did like a trial session, you know, for producing, for recording. And I remember the first day that she walked in. Actually, she canceled the first day. And I was like, yeah, this isn't happening. You know what I mean? Like, of course, there's been so many sessions that, this star's going to come. They booked.
Yep.
They don't show, especially back in the day when
and that's it. Like, they don't come back.
They don't come back, you know? And Lauryn canceled, you know, she was busy or whatever. We're like, yeah, this ain't happening. Literally, mind you, The Score and Miseducation are two of probably my top 5 favorite records at this point of all time. So I have for this pedigree of like, this is crazy. How people think of the Beatles, you know what I mean? Beatles fans to the Beatles, or Dylan fans to Dylan. Like, that was me to Lauryn. To me, she's like the Bob Dylan of R&B, of female R&B. And she's the greatest, in my opinion, she's the greatest female MC of all time.
We were talking about that at the shop.
Okay, of all time.
Yeah, and she pretty much ran away with it.
Yeah, and and straight up, we man, I wish we had an hour, because we can just talk about core hip hop stuff. You know what I mean? Because I really believe that. I really believe, and working with her. You
think this is the only time we're going to sit down in front of the camera and talk, man? Come on.
But working with her, it really affirmed that, and to see where it was coming from. And I worked with rappers all the time. Worked with some really cool rappers all the time. That was another level.
All right, so what happens after she cancels?
Okay, she can't. Damn, jumping around. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good. Jump around. So, it's a good sign. You brought that back up.
She canceled. A month or two later, she's like, "Yo, and Miss Hill wants to do it again." I'm like, "Sure, man. All right, I'll keep that Sunday. It was a Sunday night. I'll keep it free. It was like around the world. It was like after the World Series. It was November, so after we won. So I'm like, I'm feeling good. The Phillies won. I was like, cool, man. Whatever. It's all good. And she comes, she walks in. I'll never forget that feeling. And that feeling of her walking in, she controls the room, man.
Really?
No matter who else is in the room. I've been a part of shows where Prince is there, you know, where Jay-Z and Beyonce are there as fans. Chris Rock are there. When she walks in, she's the center of that room. No matter what room, what occasion, it could have been Muhammad Ali or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, no matter what that room is, she walks in, she's the center of that room. That's no shit. That's no bullshit. Anyone that says otherwise, wait until she walks through your room. You know what I mean? And she just has that aura. And we just hit it off. We spent probably until like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning working on a track.
And what was the track?
It was just it ended up being just this B-side that we're working on. Yeah, I forget the name of the track, you know, but
was it more like a R&B track?
It was like an R&B
track.
Okay. It was more of an R&B track.
Okay.
And it was really just to test this out. You know, to test out her. She's wanted to be back making music. You know what I mean? It was just see how it felt for her, and to who, you know, that she was gonna fuck with, who she gonna work with. And got a call that she said she loved us, but she didn't like the drive. So we went and we built a studio in a house that she rented for us, that where the producers and the engineers and the musicians will live. And that was such a crazy secret to keep, you know what I mean? Like, we literally went to this house and built the studio, and we lived there, and I lived there for a while. And
where was it?
This was in South Orange, New Jersey, or hometown.
Okay.
And we had
now you say living there, like inside. Are you commuting back here?
For a minute, I was living there, so just getting going, and then afterwards, I can't do this shit. So I started commuting, even if I just came back home to get 2 hours of sleep and then drove right back up. It was good to have that.
How many people in the house?
At points, probably like 15 at the most.
My God, it was like a Big Brother episode.
It was a big house. It was a big house. It definitely could have been like a show.
Right,
you know?
right.
But we had a great time.
That's insane.
I learned more about music and about how to operate with music, with artists, and to create more than I ever done. And then she got offers to tour again, because people started bouncing around the idea that Miss Hill's back, that Lauryn Hill's back.
Right.
So offers started coming in, and then she had the itch to play. She had the itch to go and play to people, and that's what we did. And she doesn't trust too many. You know, she keeps a tight family. So she looked at me and Phil. She's like, "You guys can do sound, right? You guys want to? Yeah, you guys roll." And so that was that. And
you tell her, like, "Come on, I used to roll with school."
Like, she
don't check me now.
Yeah, that's why she had me play with her, and even got the chance to play with her and drum with her for a bunch of stuff. It was an honor because of Schoolie. You know what I mean? Schoolie came out and did a couple DJ gigs with her too. So,
that's crazy.
It was cool. So it was like a tight family. You know what I mean? And we traveled the world with her. We traveled the world with her a good amount of times. You know what I mean? And it was a fun time. But in the end, I knew I didn't want to just be a live guy anymore. That's why I respectfully, I came back to the studio and I said, you know, I just need to be working on music. The second you're ready to work on some music and you want me involved, I'm there. I just can't do the live thing. You know what I mean? It's just, if I wanted to do the live thing, I would be doing the live thing. Sure. You know what I mean?
Well, you can't see Phillies games or
exactly. You know, and I got to travel for 5 years to places, and in a style that most people will never get. You know what I mean? We got treated like royalty in Rwanda. That's crazy.
Yeah,
you know, when she's in Rwanda, she's the biggest thing happening in Rwanda. When we're in South America, she is the big. It wasn't a little punk. One of my little punk bands going down to like scrounge it out. You know what I mean? Like, this was that when she goes down there, it's the center of attention. You know what I mean?
Rwanda, the wildest place you went with her? Or?
Rwanda's probably the wildest place I went with her, for sure. It was crazy. Like what year?
Like, you have to go through protocol and precaution.
We got our shit stolen. We got all our luggage stolen. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that type of shit. You know what I mean? But it was an experience I'll cherish forever. I'll never give back. You know what I mean? I love those times in hindsight, for sure. During it, I was definitely complaining, cursing, you know what I mean? But it was hard work, man. We're up around the clock. Basically, I remember people looking at our drummer Biscuit, you know, who plays with Talib and whatever, looking at him literally falling asleep on his luggage, like standing up, waiting for our ride, falling asleep. I was like, that represents the hard work that we all did, because we were up hours when she's ready, and she's like that. That's how brilliant she is, intense she is. When she's ready to work, she's working, and it doesn't matter what time it is, because she's just operating. So, yeah, it's awesome.